सोच में सकारात्मकता लाएं, जीवन को बेहतर बनाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। मनोदर्पण के काउंसलर से परामर्श पाने के लिए डायल करें टोल फ्री नंबर 844-844-0632। नंबर एक बार फिर सुने 844-844-0632।
Namaskar. I'm Shivani Jha and I welcome you all to our live and interactive session. You are watching this session on PM eVidya channel number 6 to 12 and also on our official YouTube handle, that is NCERT official. Well, let me apprise you all, for this half an hour we have our special program on Sahyog, and yes, as you all know, the Sahyog and Paricharcha sessions are brought to you by Manodarpan and is a great initiative of Ministry of Education as a part of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan for providing psychosocial support and mental well-being to all the teachers, parents and students across the country. Well, the topic that we have taken up today is Talk It Out, communication, connection and mental well-being. Well, we all know communication is key to building strong relationships and maintaining mental well-being. Yes, by sharing our thoughts and feelings, we foster connection, resolve conflicts and yes, to promote emotional and mental health. So, to delve deeper into this entire topic, we are also joined by our esteemed experts. So, let me introduce to them first. Firstly, we are joined by our expert, Dr. Sarajubala Devi. Ma'am is Associate Professor in Linguistic, DELSS, NERIE, Shillong. Ma'am, namaskar and welcome to our session. Okay, thank you. And along with ma'am, we are also joined by our practicing counsellor, Dr. Lopamudra Saha. Ma'am, namaskar and I also welcome you. Okay, so dear viewers, along with our experts, we are also joined by our Indian Sign Language interpreter, Ms. Ruchi Rawat. So, I also welcome you to this session. And now, if you have any queries or doubt regarding our today's topic, then you can also contact us via phone or our email ID. Firstly, we have two phone numbers and it is 8800440559. And second phone number is of Manodarpan Counsellors, which is 8448440632. And the mail ID is sahyog.ncert@ciet.nic.in. And as you all know, this session of ours is live and interactive. So you can also drop your comments, your queries or your feedbacks in the live chat box option. So now we are starting our today's topic, and firstly I would like to ask my question to Dr. Sarajubala. And ma'am, I would like to ask you, what is effective communication and how are connections established through communication? Sarajubala ma'am.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
Yes.
We all know that communication is the key to build human relationship. Human relationship are built upon how you communicate. Communication, as we all know, there are two partners, one the speaker group and the listener group. What happens is, for a communication to be effective, what is important is, the speaker should be able to convey his or her message in a way that it is unambiguous, it is clear for the listener to understand. At the same time, listeners should be able to get the information from the speaker with little distortion as possible. That means they both are the interlocuting partner. They have to build an understanding. They have to build an agreement on what the speaker wants to say and what the listener hear. This is what we call effective communication. Effective communication is something not about, the speaker telling whatever she wants to say and the listener answering whatever he wants to say. This is a mutual understanding whereby we build trust, we build some sort of bonding between the speaker and listener. And how we speak here, what is being research has been says is like, it is not only the words that convey a message. The Paralinguistic features, the body language, it constitutes 93% of your message which has been sent to the listener. So listener, along with the words, with the body language, they are going to receive the information. Then how connections are established? How connections are established is once you are able to build an understanding between the speaker and hearer, both has a connection which is built on the some kind of understanding. They build a trust, they build a mutual respect, they are having empathy, and this is how, with that empathy, with that understanding, with that trust, they are going to collaborate to make a meaning out of the situation. That is very, very important. Then now, as we are coming to the sahyog, what is important for the adolescents is, we all know adolescents are, they are in a crisis of the identity, they are emotionally sensitive, and they are building an identity. They demand a kind of respect, a kind of, some sort of belongingness, the sense of support, the sense of mutual respect. That is what they demand. So what happens is the interlocuting partner, maybe it is the adolescent himself or maybe with the parents. They should be clear enough to convey what is being wanted, and the other party who is listening should be able to wait and listen to the perspective of the other person. That is how we start communication, and that is how we build connections between the two partner which has been coming up. So here in this case, it is the adolescents and the parents, adolescents and the teacher, adolescents. So what is important is be clear, be empathetic and concise, and there should be mutual respect. So once you have a mutual respect, there will be trust. When you build trust, you are going to collaborate and you are going to navigate into the kind of relationship. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Sarajubala, and you have beautifully explained this question to our viewers. And here there's some technical glitch from Lopamudra's ma'am side, so I am asking the next question to you only. So please elaborate us, like what is non-effective communication and what are its impacts on relationships? Okay, Sarajubala ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, can you please answer this question?
The communication, as we know that communication will be of the slides are not going in the way, so we will just try to answer the way how we have planned for. So in effect, what happens is we say that communicators, the interlocuting partners, are going to build an understanding. They are going to build a collaborated kind of understanding on what they are speaking. So in effective communication, what happens is, as I have told earlier, there should be clarity of information. In the clarity of information, there should be no room for ambiguity. Then again, more listening. See, we are going to build a relationship. We are going to build an understanding. So both has to listen. You speak, I have to listen. When I speak, you have to listen. That is something. Then assumptions and jumping into conclusions, when it happens many times in the communication between adolescents and adults. Adults feel that I know the best for you, and teachers also say that I have seen thousands of you. That's what normally the parents and adults do, is they have lots of assumptions in their mind and they do jump to the conclusion. And because of that, and also we all know that there is a generational gap between the adults and adolescents. Because of the generation gap, the kind of perspective, the kind of belief system between these two groups are different. So when it is different, there is always a gap. We as an adult should be able to understand that one. Again, the adolescents, they are not able to put their words properly. They are not consistent with the thought process. So what is important is you have to have whoever is speaking, they should be, forming their message very clearly, and the other partner should be able to listen with empathy, and there should not be any assumption. You should be listening attentively. There should not be any conclusion, jumping to the conclusion that is there. And because of this, what happens, if the impact, since they are not being heard, the adolescents feel anxiety. Adolescents feel that I am not being given due importance. I am been misunderstood. Whatever I say, I have a problem. So in this context, what happened? They are not confident. They withdraw themselves, and it goes even to the extent that they started taking some sort of, unwanted behavior, risk-taking behaviors. Also, they start taking up.
Okay.
Okay.
So, so Sarajubala ma'am, we see most of the time students face a lot of problems related to their communication. So, how can like parents and teachers do for resolving it, and how they can play a vital role for solving the same?
Communication problem. First of all, we have to teach our children to frame their ideas very clearly. That is one thing. And from the elders' perspective, what we will have is, we should have active communication and listening. So you should be actively listening to them. You should be using open-ended questions, and at the same time, you should validate the kind of their feelings. You should respect their feelings. They are growing up. You have to be empathetic. You have to understand them from their perspective. Then again, you have to build a trust. What is very important is building a trust. How do we build a trust? We build a trust by scheduling some quality time together with them. We find their interests, and most importantly, what we have to do is we have to show some sort of appreciation on whatever attempts they have made. Then yes, of course, there is going to be difficult conversations. Difficult conversations, heated conversations are bound to happen, since there is generational gap, since there is a difference in the perspective. In that situation, we parents or we elders, what are we supposed to do? Parents as well as teachers, we should be staying calm, choosing the right setting. If the argument has gone little higher up, then we can say that let's talk about it little later. Let's talk it out after 5-10 minutes or something like that. And you should be very honest and clear on what you want to convey, because as I have previously told, communication is about meaning making together, not only by the speaker but also by the listener. So that has to be very clear. And in the school, and for the students themselves also, I have included some points. So for the students, they also have to be ready to listen the perspective of the elders, then so that they also should show that we are listening, we are agreeing to a certain point. And if there is a disagreement, they should ask for clarification rather than keeping quiet. If they are keeping quiet, what happens is, the adults assume that they understand. Why they are not responding is they are being aggressive, or they are being just making themselves aloof of this kind of situation. Probably no. That is why, from the students' perspective, from the adolescents' perspective also, they should be able to show some sort of, connection to the kind of conversation that is going. They should be asking questions. They should wait for the turn. That is very important. We never wait for our turn. We just wanted to, bust it out. That is something that creates a lot of misunderstanding. So whenever you have a problem, you have to seek help early. Prepare your questions beforehand, because you have to be an assertive communicator. You can't be a passive communicator. You can't be a passive aggressive also. At the same time, if you are showing your aggression, there is a high chance for you being misunderstood. These are the things which you have, from the students' perspective, they have to do. Then again, use polite and respectful language. Polite forms or respectful language, that is just lubricant in the kind of conversation which is going on. And since you are going to build trust, you have to respect the other partner. Both the parties should respect the other party. Both the parties should be ready to listen to the viewpoints and perspectives. That's how we can build the gap between the interlocuting partners. That is how we should build an understanding. That is how we should be going about with the communication and connections. As I say, you have to agree to a certain point. Even if you are not agreeing, you should be assertive because of these points. I'm not agreeing with you. And the message from both the sides has to be very, very clear. If there is an ambiguity, then again, the miscommunication or the ineffective communication are bound to happen. When communication breakdown, there is a high chance of you being misunderstood. Not only the adolescents but also the parents. Parents wants to say something. Parents sometimes says to the students' report card, should have done better. Should have done better is something from the parent's perspective. The parent is saying that you could this is a kind of motivation. But again, the adolescents might have think that no, despite doing so much of work, they are not happy. This is a kind of example of a gap that existed between the communicating partners. So what is important finally is whoever is speaking, whoever is listening, since it is going to be a collaborative task, you have to have a clear objective, you have to frame your message properly, you have to understand the other's message also, and you have to establish an overall goal. Be concise and appropriate, that is very important. And also, above all, display sincerity on your tone. Avoid unnecessary information. Stay control of your body language. As I have said that your body language contribute 93% of communication. So you should be having eye contact. You should not be looking around when somebody is talking. You should not be moving your head to a certain unwanted kind of way. And what is most important, practice effective listening. Until and unless you listen to the other person thoroughly, probably there is a high chance for misunderstanding the kind of information that is being shared. That is all about the kind of
Okay.
problems.
So, ma'am, very truly said by you. And of course, parents and teachers can effectively teach children communication skills, and also starting early can make a significant impact on the children's and also on their mental health. So, dear viewers, this is all about our today's topic and today's session. And still, if you have any queries or you want to ask anything, then you can directly reach out to us via comment box option. So, firstly, I would like to thank our expert for this session, Dr. Sarajubala Devi. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining us. Okay. And along with ma'am, I would also like to thank our Indian Sign Language interpreter, Ms. Ruchi Rawat. I also thank you for this session. And now, dear viewers, let me tell you, the new NCERT textbook for class 4th and 7th are now available on Amazon, Flipkart, and also on our NCERT official website. So please grab it on from there. And also let me tell you, by tomorrow morning, you may join us on channel number 6 to 12 for the program of yoga, and after that followed by, you can also join us for the different programs on PM Evidya channels. So once again, thank you to all of you for joining us till last, and namaskar.